time.
If you want to give us one.
We are thrilled to be hosting and being at home as long as as long as we keep winning. We started out the year with a goal of being a top 4 seed, and we accomplished that, and so that gives us a chance to have the home court advantage, and we're excited to get going, and just are really hopeful for a well-attended match against Morehead State.
Fish, you have so many veterans, and even couple of the younger players, they've been kind of down this road to a Final Four in the past with that experience. What do you even say to them at this point? Are they at the point where they can kind of self-police and they don't really need a lot of, motivation and or other little nuggets from you?
I think it's probably just as coaches, it's our job to try to, it's more about honest conversations about keeping them locked in, and there's just a lot going on. There's a lot of media, there's finals coming up, there's family pressure, and so just making sure that we're doing everything we can as a coaching staff to make sure that we're helping them stay focused and lightening their load.
First time ever in program history you guys get the number 1 overall. I know you said at the beginning of the season you want to be number 1 at the end, but with just 3 weeks left in the season, what does it feel like to be that true number 1?
Yeah, I think I think I'm probably just repeating myself, but I like being number 1 because I like how it's affected our program and the attendance and the buzz. But we're in, our ultimate goal is to be number 1 at the end, and then our ultimate goal is to have good practice today. So
you guys have been playing at a pretty high level all year, but what has there anything specific you've seen that has gotten better with this group as the year's gone along?
I think as compared to the start of the year, I think we're as a team, our settings improved, not just Rachel, but that's improved. I think we're running the back row better than we did at the start of the year. So those are probably, and potentially serving a little better, but I think those are probably like the team things. I think the rest is just like plugging away at some individual stuff.
Were you surprised with any of the top 4 seeds? I think it was pretty straightforward when they were released. Were you surprised by any of that?
No surprise. Yeah.
What do you think about your region?
I think, I had a feeling the one side would be pretty heavy ACC and another side would be pretty heavy with Big Ten teams. I was certainly really proud of our conference for getting so many teams in, I try not to get to think too much about stuff out of my control. I think the seeding, the committee did a fair job, and nobody has an easy road anywhere. Our sport continues to have more parity, and I think whoever makes the Final Four will be a really big accomplishment.
Coach, I know it's not a guarantee you play SMU or Oregon, but is it nice to have some familiarity with a team in your conference, in your region?
I think so. I think it's they probably feel the same way though, right? That they've seen us as well. But I think the biggest thing is just the chance to play those teams at home.
Olivia Babcock won ACC Player of the Year. I'm curious, was there a point when you were recruiting her that you really thought that, yeah, she's going to be this amazing player earning all these accolades kind of thing?
I think I always thought she could, like really early on. She's she's physically gifted and was newer to volleyball when I first saw her. But so it just was hard to know. I guess I just couldn't have predicted how quickly, but I or how dominant, but I always, from the moment I saw her, I thought, wow, this girl's got a chance.
From your perspective, how has she been able to make the jump so quickly?
I think it's probably, if I could know that, I would recruit every kid that would end up being like her. But I think it's a combination of she learns quickly, and I think that part of that is, she was a multi-sport athlete, so I think that helps. She has incredibly high standards. She's as a freshman was some kids are just happy to be out there and get a shot, and she'd be, hey, I could have done better. And so she has that elite level drive. And she's just, the other thing elite about her perspective is she doesn't just care about one part of the game. So it won't be the coaching staff saying, hey, get some extra defensive reps. She'll be the one kind of grabbing us. Hey, I feel like I'm not digging as well as I could. And so she really cares about her whole game.
Coach, there's a underrated part of her game?
Probably just her humility and what a teammate she is. This is this is someone that's never once has she talked to me about playing time, never once in the recruiting process, never, she just is a great teammate, and everything she's gotten, she's earned.
Coach, another player that made an All-ACC team was Riley Jones with the All-ACC freshman team. In the spring, she wasn't, set to be in the starting lineup now. All-ACC freshman team. Can you speak to, the difference she's made for this team even now?
Well, she's and this it also goes with Rachel and how well she's used her, but she's hit for a really high percentage as a freshman, and so she's kind of that final piece where we maybe don't set her always as much, but I don't think another team can forget about her, and she continues to work on being she's a good blocker. She continues to really put in the work to be great.
What does it mean to have all 7 of your starters earn all ACC honors for the second straight year?
I guess that's right. Last year too. I think it's. I just really appreciate that the coaches recognized. Not just a couple of our players, but all of them. We don't have issues with on my team with jealousy, but it certainly is nice when everyone gets something.
Bree Kelly, we knew she was going to be good, but really these past couple weeks has really kind of risen even more. What have you seen from her that's allowed her to take that jump? I think about a month and a half ago was, really when physically she started to. Now she's jumping a little higher, moving a little quicker, and also just moving with, the confidence, to go laterally really quickly without worrying about landing on someone. So I think it just took some time for her to fully heal from the off season, and also she's been training. She was able to train consistently. She hasn't missed a practice in 4 months. So I think just having been out for a while, getting healthy, and then just the consistency of every day being able to get after it.
You obviously have a lot of player carryover from the last 3 years of this year's team, but is there anything different about this year's team as you enter the postseason, either mentality-wise or just something different you see in this group as opposed to the last few years?
Yeah, this, I've said it earlier this year, but this group just has all those returners, so I think it's probably, they talk about the Final Four and the national championship more than I do. It's not something we really need to talk about. They know that we have the talent to do it, and so I think that level of drive has been there from the start, and I guess confidence, for lack of a better word, that we can do it.
Did you guys talk about the fact that when you were at Louisville last week, you were playing on the court that will be the court of the Final Four, and how that experience of beating Louisville there could help?
Well, I think either way, it was we did talk about it. You know, we got to get there first, but it's pretty rare in any level of sports, you know, that you'd have, 3 weeks out or whatever it was, 4 weeks out, you have a chance to play at the Final Four venue. So, hopefully that proves to be an advantage for us.
You mentioned the buzz around this program. You set the program attendance record here earlier this year. What's it just going to be like seeing the support for the first couple rounds here?
You know, that's what I'm probably most excited about is, assuming we advance, I'm pretty sure the attendance will keep getting better, but I'd really love to see, first and second round well attended, and I would remind people it's hard to advance against anyone. I know that sounds, I don't know how it sounds, but just getting to a Sweet 16 is really hard. I mean, so we expect these to be really good matches.
Being the top seed, does that add any extra pressure to you guys?
I don't think about it a ton. I think as a coach, I put a lot of pressure on myself to get into Sweet 16. I think that's a big marker for me, because I just know at that point on, everyone's so good that it's. I think that's probably what I do. I don't know how the girls feel about it. I think we're probably pretty used to being, a top seed over the last couple of years.
You were named ACC Coach of the Year. What does that honor mean to you?
Well, I think good coaches have good players, and ideally good players have good coaches. So I just feel like it's a team award, and I certainly give a lot of credit to my staff and my support staff. This is the best staff and support staff I've ever had, and so it's credit to them.
Kellen said on a podcast the other day that you're going to play up until the Final Four in the Pete. Was that something that was important to you? Because I know, like in previous years, it's been one weekend at the Pete, one weekend at the Fence.
I think. Well, ideally we'd like to have big crowds, and it doesn't always work out with the basketball schedule. And so just grateful that our administration made it happen and that it worked out this year.
What have you seen from Morehead State, your first round matchup?
Yeah, we're still in the process of scouting them. Actually, in some ways, we kind of reverse scout a little bit. We start with the other teams, and then we kind of get deeper into Morehead. But my assistant reminded me there is one player that we played that was on the team. We played them a couple years ago, but we expect them to come in, and play like they have nothing to lose, and so that's always scary when someone's playing loose, and so we know that we're going to have to come out of the gates with a lot of defensive pressure.
What have you seen from UTEP and Oklahoma in your scout?
Not super advanced with UTEP yet. Oklahoma plays very, very fast. I'm friends with both their coaches. So they'll pose a unique defensive challenge with, it's probably the fastest offense I've seen this year. That's it for now.
You have a bunch of players on your team that will be playing in their last NCAA tournament, and thinking back to some of them, their first NCAA tournament was a Final Four run. Mm-hmm. I know that it's hard to reflect in the moment, but is that something you've thought about at all? Like, as you guys have begun this, that, Rachel, Emmy, Valeria, Kat, Nisa too, just their experience in the Final Fours and all that.
Yeah, not a ton, because we're always just thinking about the next game, but there have been times this year where, Valeria being in her sixth year, where I'll be, hey, Valeria, tell them what it was like back when we, she reminded me that she didn't travel her freshman year because we were saving money because she was a red shirt, and I was like, oh, we did that. So yeah, our program's changed a lot and the expectations have changed, but it's certainly been, an incredible run by the senior class.
With those group of players that she just mentioned, can you could you sense anything just in their collective demeanor this year, and just maybe the way were they even a little more businesslike than usual? Just as we said, they're knowing this is going to be their last go around, and the potential this team had.
Yeah, they've been so serious all along. It's hard to say, but I probably would just, put it this way. I think Valeria, I think Rachel's been locked in. She's been leading the charge with, how competitive she is and how much she wants to win. But I think whether it's Valeria or Kat, they came back for this reason, to be part of this group and to pursue a national championship.
You said Rachel's locked in, has been kind of leading the charge. Does she ever get on her teammates because of her, just her intensity, like in practice or anything?
Certainly. And we have the kind of team culture where that's encouraged, where we like to talk about small conflicts. We don't like big ones. So that's one of our kind of mantras. So we like to be combative in practice and competitive, and we feel like that prepares us for the game.
Do you have an example of something Rachel has maybe said or done with a teammate that you've seen like kind of result in a game?
Probably like with a teammate. No, I think it's more just taking the lead of the coaches. The only time we really get on each other is when it is for effort plays. So if someone is not going for a ball on defense, and so she is I would say she's one of the players that, will hold that standard, as, if the coaches don't say, hey, we need that ball up. But in terms of like setter, hitter connection and communicate, there's like she's, they're all very collaborative. We all want the same thing.
Dan, how important? I feel like Emmy's importance is always maybe a little bit understated by some people, but how have you seen her grow this season in terms of her play and her maturity on the court?
Yeah, I think she is. She was great last year, so I think she's gotten a little bit better at taking more court in serve receive, like comfortable. Like she's really become more of the captain of the back row, and I do think her setting's improved, and probably like parts of her defense are better, like her overhead digging, and but definitely feel like she's just more of a presence, like a better leader than she has been.